Hey, Chris Jenkins, credentialed member of the media, covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe, aka Man of the People, and joined today, as you will see real quickly here, the other guy on the screen, Andre Casseday, the new most popular Man of the People worker. How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. Hey, it's a victory Monday. I still need to get some Krispy Kreme before the
Yeah.
day is done, but I cannot complain.
No Krispy Kreme yet?
Not yet. I guess that will be my reward after we get through with a Victory Monday show. No mental health Mondays today because all the vibes are pretty positive here today.
Hey, I didn't have a chance to cue up my music. Let me see if I can find it. Really, I probably can't find this music, and even if I can, it's going to be copyrighted. But let me see if I can find some music to start the show. Let's see. Un momento, por favor. I learned that phrase like 15 years ago, working at a customer service. Like in case you get a Spanish speaking person call,
Right.
you say un momento, por favor, and then you transfer them to the Spanish side.
Or
But
the other one being Puedo ir al baño. That's another common one that I used a lot in Spanish class back in high school.
I never heard that one.
Can I use the restroom?
Hey,
So there's your Spanish lesson for today.
I got a new sound that I'm gonna add to the repertoire.
All
And
right.
let's see if I can get this done here properly. And sorry we're a little early tonight, everybody. Andre has some more important stuff to do, so he asked if I could start the show early. And I am. No, I'm just kidding. It's me. It's me. I have to go see the lights with the family. All right.
All
Let's
right,
see
let's
how
hear
well
it.
this works. I don't know if the volume's adjusted for it properly or not, but
I'm gonna turn it down just in case on my end.
well,
Just
it may be too low. I don't know, but here we go. I wish I could fade to black and come back. But here you go, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna do this, Andre. Put your head down. We're gonna raise our head slowly, like we're on the stage. Ready? Here we go.
oh yeah.
Hi, I'm Chris Jenkins reporting live from Charlotte as the Carolina Panthers have just beat the Atlanta Falcons, and I'm joined by my great co-host Andre Casseday.
Man, is that a segue? Are we about to invite somebody well known onto the show today? Is that a teaser there for everybody out there?
It is you and I. We are the main people for this show. So we're going to get into our day after show, our what has been known all season long as our mental health Mondays. But it's just a recap. It's a show dedicated 100% to interacting with you guys. So the link is in the description. All right. So if you have that link, click on it. We want to know how you're feeling. Are you happy about what happened yesterday? Do you feel the same? Did you not watch it? And even better, were you at the game? And if so, how was it? I saw a few people online that actually was able to go to the game for the first time. And I think those people that braved it out and decided to do that, I think they had the ultimate reward in seeing that last minute field goal and a victory by the Carolina Panthers. I said again, I wanted to take my family because they've never been. And I decided not to because we got some little ones in this. I was like, oh, well, part of the reason why the tickets also uh, part of the reason that helped the tickets fall in price was the weather. And so they didn't go, but it was nice for those who got to go for the first time and have a good experience.
And the other part of it too, when Carolina decides to turn it around at some point in the near future, people could say, "Hey, I was at that game where there was only like 30, 40,000 people at Bank of America Stadium." And the funny thing is, um, they said the stadium said that they distributed 70,000 tickets, and I think every waking person that heard that being read out knew that that was just a bunch of malarkey, right? I mean, with how empty that stadium was for practically the whole game, yeah, that was definitely one of your lighter crowds that I've personally seen over these past 2 years.
Yeah, and I like to point out the distinction with it, all right? So those tickets distributed, which as, boycotts and march on mints and all these other different things have been proposed to get David Tepper's attention. They say, well, keep in mind, folks, tickets are already sold, PSLs and things like that. So they're just announcing how many tickets were sold. Doesn't necessarily, by any means, indicate how many people actually came through the turnstiles. And probably we will not get that information from the team because they don't want us to know. Yeah, it was like 32,000 or so people at the game, but nevertheless, let's go ahead and get into a few comments. We have a good faithful person here, Thomas Frisbee. I wonder if the 6:30 time tripped up a lot of people. I expected a little bit more right now, but it's early on. But Thomas, faithful guy, what's going on? Appreciate you tuning in. And then we also have, I'm gonna, I'm just gonna say for me, I need to do better with pronouncing this guy's name because he sent us links, and I wish maybe you know what, email me so I can play it before I do a show, so I can commit it to memory. My email is out there for the public, cjenkins@charlottevibe.com, so I can practice saying your name. That's the least I can do for a very loyal listener. He says, "Hi, hey Chris, you are too soon. I'm not even home yet." So there's a hint about the time change. I'm sorry, but I do what I can. NBC Sunday Night Football on Charlotte Vibe. I mean, we're just winners around here. And let me go ahead and show you. Let me kick Andre off for a second and show you
Uh-oh.
this. Look at this shirt here. Here you have it.
Ooh.
I got a chance to wear the shirt that many of you have and Andre does not have. And shirt that we designed a few years ago, probably more than a few years ago, and we sold it as part of raising funds for this independent media. And so I told you I'd wear it. And here's the funny thing: as I put on my shirt and I rush upstairs and I see the family, and my wife's like, "Oh wow, you haven't worn that shirt. So look how wrinkled it is. You have not worn that in a while." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." And then I passed my stepson, and he's like, "Well, I haven't seen that one before." Yeah, you haven't seen it in a while. It's been some tough times, but nevertheless, I do have it. My Victory Monday shirt for a Victory Monday. So here
Hey,
we
it doesn't
are.
look it doesn't look wrinkled now, so I guess you did a couple of things here and there to
I'm
get it
big. I'm
to where
big,
it
so
is now.
I was able to stretch it on out and make it make it what it is right now.
Get that ironing board ready right before the show.
Steamer, yeah, yeah, or do
Do it
some
old
push-ups.
fashioned.
And so yeah, I do have different lights going on. You see different colors. It's red, it's blue, it's green. Uh, my son, the youngest, the 2-year-old, and I know I'm doing all this personal talk, but we'll go ahead and get into some football here in a second. So he's at that stage where if you say Andre, he's not gonna say Andre. He's just gonna look at you with his thumb in his mouth, by the way, which bugs the bejesus out of him. And then, but if you just say, random like, "Hey Andre," he'll repeat you, right? So my wife's yelling at me to come eat real quick. She's like, "Chris," and then um, guess what happens like 2 seconds after she says that? Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
I hear the knock.
Yeah, come on in. Who's ever knocking?
Don't be shy.
Don't be shy. Water. Look at this. What a
Okay.
family I have. I got water delivered to me. So
With some
guess what?
ice in
Guess
it too.
the
You
son
got
starts
it.
saying, "Chris, Chris." He hasn't called me dad in the past 30 minutes because my wife yelled Chris, and that's what he wants to call me. Now, granted, I'm not gonna tolerate it, but I'll let him have it for a few minutes.
Right. Monkey see, monkey do kind of deal for the little man right there.
Where do you want to start, man? I'm
Where do
telling
I
you about
want to
this Atlanta
start? I
Falcons
mean,
matchup.
there's a lot that we can kind of divulge into, but I want to focus in on that last drive by
Okay.
Bryce Young. I think that's a good starting point. I think when you look at everything that has taken place with him this season, the two wins that he's had on the year have both been come from behind victories, and he has led those comeback drives. And for one to be in the elements, right, and to start from basically your own 10-yard line and take up 7 minutes of the clock to be able to travel down the field and ultimately win the game. I mean, um, kudos to him and for the entire offense who has had a lot of hiccups, right, for the lack of a better term right now. But that's a big boy drive from Bryce Young right there.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive. It was 17 plays, 90 yards, 7 minutes, and 35 seconds. And let, I don't know if you just heard my son call me again. Just yelled
I
Chris.
sure did.
He just, well, yeah. I got to adjust this mic so you guys don't hear too much going on in the house. I'll figure that out here in a second. But still distracted by my son yelling at me, Chris. But yeah, 17 plays, 90 yards, 7 minutes, 35 seconds. And let's not forget that that was all triggered by the great defensive play of Xavier Woods giving us that interception to give us that opportunity. Else could easily be on the other side of a loss. But yeah, it was great. He even threw the ball a lot. You know, normally I get upset when we're throwing the ball when the run has got us there, but we did a very good combination of throwing the ball and running the ball and letting him kick. Now, do you have any feelings on, man, I wish we had a let Bryce go ahead and throw a touchdown or let Chuba get a touchdown so we can give those guys a big push?
In the moment, yes, but here we are a day later, and we know what the result is. So I can't complain too much about how things unfolded. But I thought they did a pretty good job strategically with managing the clock. And obviously, you want to score a touchdown and you want to, put the cherry on the top kind of deal and uh, wrap it all up, right? But I think when they got that third down and they forced Atlanta to use their last time out, I think from a strategic standpoint, that allowed Carolina to just say, hey, let's just take a step back, use up as much of the clock as humanly possible, which they did all the way up to the last second before they called that final timeout before the kick. And you're also looking at it from this perspective too. Eddie Pinheiro, in those situations is as close to automatic as he is going to get. He's made 30 straight field goals at Bank of America Stadium, including that one that he made at the very end of yesterday's game. So when you factor all those things in, you want to go for the known guarantees and the plays that you know are going to get you the result that you need in that kind of situation. And I think Chris Tabor, mixing Scott Fitter and Chris Tabor's name all together. But yeah, in that situation there, they did a pretty good job in managing the clock and getting the result that they need under the circumstances.
Yeah, good drive, and that made us victorious. 2-12. Currently, I can't say ruining the Atlanta Falcons' playoff chances, but just making it a little bit more difficult for them.
Yeah, it made that path just a tad bit difficult. Now there's still time for them. Atlanta still has 3 games left, and they still have matchups, I believe, with both of the top two teams in the NFC South. So they still have a path to the playoffs, but their path got a little bit more jagged after Carolina beating them yesterday. So that was a huge loss for them and a very disappointing loss because they had different motivations than Carolina did yesterday, and yet Carolina was able to pull it out and win.
Hey, I had a person come to our green room, and I've been rudely kind of forgetting that they were sitting there in the green room. So, without further ado, let me hit this button here. Split. Oh man, we got some
Hey,
Panthers gear on
What's up,
too.
guys?
what is going on, man? Good to
You know
see you.
what? It's Victory Monday. Don't get a lot of those this year. So you know what? Wearing the Panthers gear. Let's just say my students this morning was giving me crap for it. They're like, "Did they win or something?" I'm like, "Well, yeah." I mean, it's been rough every Monday. Those like they lost, and that's why you're looking the way you are. But no, it actually was a really good game. I'll take 2 wins over. It sounds better than 1-16. But
A little
honestly,
bit.
I care about the fact that they are messing up that number one draft pick going to Chicago. They're messing up Atlanta's chances to get to the playoffs. So both that's a win-win plus another win. So I'm okay with that. But I'll be honest with you, when they started taking those knees to kick the field goal, I was a little skeptical at first because I'm like, okay, what if you missed the field goal instead of you have that guaranteed trying to run it in? But Tabor knew what he was doing. Well, they got the win. That's all that matters. But I mean, honestly, it lifts whatever sour morale. But seeing not a lot of people in the stands, I don't know if it's like a weather thing because I saw how drenched and pouring it was when I was watching the game. So I don't know. I don't know if people are just mad or they're trying to send a message because the thing is, it's like if you're trying to send a message, you did it, but they won. So I don't know. Maybe they need to do it more often. Not hardly people show up. I don't know, but you know what? I'll take it. Even if they don't win the remaining games, 2-15 sounds better than 1-16.
Hey Tom, I think it was a few factors. One is, just mathematically, it's hard to just lose every single
Mm-hmm.
game, right? So and we play a lot of teams in the NFC South that are pretty bad too. So it just like the ball had to bounce our way one
Mm-hmm.
time, and that's literally what it did, right? Because this was still a game. We didn't score a touchdown, and we won a game. We only kicked 3 field goals and won a game. So it was still a pretty bad game, but it's just relieving to win. And yes, the weather yesterday was, to me, it
It
wasn't
was
the
rough.
most awful thing ever, but
Mm-hmm.
it was just a constant rain from, I know where I live, from when I woke up, it was raining, and it finally stopped raining probably about 7, 8 o'clock.
Oh, yeah, it was raining up here in Ohio for a good part of the day, and then it was snowing this afternoon. So I mean, that typical Toledo weather. But yeah, I was like, I would rather had what we had yesterday instead of that. That must have been awful to stand in or report in. I mean, but hey, a win's a win. I don't care if it's 9-6, whatever. A win's a win.
When's the win? And hey, in Ohio, they got sports betting that's going to be legal in just, what, a couple weeks?
I know they've allowed it in some parts. The
This guy
casino
with the
by
sport.
us does have it. You can do FanDuel now and stuff like that. But yeah, Ohio just came to the future. Joined the present. So I don't know. Ohio's always behind the times. So,
All
but
right.
I mean, a win's a win. I'll take it no matter what.
I'm happy for it. And hey, and before I let you go, and Andre's just ready to rip me about the sports betting. I have no idea why, but I'm going to let him have the chance to do so. Thomas, we still are in sole possession of giving Chicago that first round pick, but not far from it because you got the Patriots and the Cardinals at 3 wins. We have
Hmm.
2. So,
I don't know because of the fact Green Bay is going to come in kind of mad,
Yep.
and then they have to play Jacksonville. Jacksonville's still trying to get in, and I think they play what Tampa again.
right.
At the
So
end of the
I
year.
I don't know. I mean, who knows? They can maybe catch Tampa napping. Maybe they clinch the division by that, and I don't know. I mean, who knows? Honestly, just don't let Chicago with that pick. I mean, they don't need another quarterback to ruin. I call it as I see him with Chicago, but I don't know. I mean, who knows? But a win's a win. I'll
Appreciate you
take it.
very much. Have fun celebrating that victory in Ohio.
Thank you. You guys have a good
Take care,
night.
man. See ya.
What do you want to say?
Yeah, you. It's funny that you said that because I remember yesterday you're like, man, I forgot to put in my parlays, and I'm like, Chris, we're at the game, man. We're here to do a job, and this dude over here talk about, man, I forgot to put those in before we got into the stadium today. Oh man, you need to address that addiction you got over there or something.
It just for the record, it's just a wish to play. I don't play, right? I look and I'm like, oh, but I'm like, I'm not gonna do it. So no, I
Right.
haven't done it. I'm not gonna do it. But it's just, you know, I got too many kids to be even putting $5 in a place where it just doesn't come back and get me a return. But if there was fantasy winning,
Right, right.
then maybe I would do it. And I don't know. But yeah, I haven't played. Trust me, I would have. But that Adam Thielen one would have won. It would have won.
See, he would have been all over the place had he put his props and bets on Adam Thielen after that drop that he had in the fourth quarter, man. He would have been the one that would have been like, hey, can't be cheering in the stadium now, Chris
Yeah,
Jenkins.
right. I'd be too emotional. Like, I got to report. I got to think about everything else. So, no sports betting for me. Leonard
Right.
Kowalski says, Merry Victory Monday, Chris and Andre. Victory Monday shirts look a lot better than missed opportunity shirts. Yeah,
Indeed.
we never had that one. By the way, you guys can join the channel or join the show, which I hope you do. The link is in the description to do so. And hit that like button. Smash it twice. Well, I can't say twice because then you unlike it. But just hit it, touch it, give us a like. Consider subscribing to the channel as we are still trying to reach our 10,000 subscribers and really would like to do so. And Thomas brought up a point about reporting in those conditions yesterday. And yeah, it was a lot of reporters just scrambling to find any kind of spot that was not in the rain. I kind of saw more people online today and saw the places that they reported from. And my man Josh Graham, who will be on our show in a couple of weeks, he was reporting from like the new seats that are on the floor level that are like big lazy boys. And the raindrops was like right behind us, so he was still kind of cold because you're like halfway out there, but you're halfway covered. Uh, Andre and I had prime real estate in the press box on the other side by a bar in which we did our show, which I'm glad that we had first dibs on because it's a nice little spot.
Can't complain. Can't complain.
All right, let's continue on. Hey, Chris, first time on your podcast. Keep up the good work. I'm a Ravens fan. They're going to the playoffs. Can't wait to watch the Ravens play against the 49ers on Christmas Day evening rematch. Hey, Kimberly, appreciate it very much. We try to have a lot of fun on the show and be interactive. So thank you for watching. Thank you for enjoying. I always invite you to go back and look at all the other videos that we've done. Lots of good stuff.
Yes.
And I've been to the Baltimore Ravens stadium before and actually was like feet away from the bird, like the Raven bird. They had them. And I was like, hey, can I get
Okay.
closer? Like, yeah. I didn't want to touch it, but I don't even know if they would have let me touch it. But it's a big bird up there, man. Let's continue to move through these comments. I think that's an NFL record for lowest attendance ever, excluding the COVID
Oh
year.
man. Yeah, I mean, we had a pretty good view of it, in the second half, right as the third quarter started, and I was like, Chris, where the heck is everybody at? I mean, I get it, it's raining, but we are like 2 or 3 minutes into the third quarter, and I guess everybody's filing back in at that point. But it was, I mean, there were legit whole sections in the upper bowl of the stadium where a good 95% of those seats were just empty, give or take a couple of people who were there. But I know for me personally, that was probably the lightest crowd I've ever been a part of at Bank of America Stadium. And, the hype about it coming into the game was definitely deserved because when you go and you show up to it and you saw how light it was even before kickoff and then after the third quarter started, you were like, wow, this is this is something right here. Um, and we try not to talk about the crowd as much because we want to talk about the on the field product from our vantage point. But you could not avoid talking about it because it was pretty evident there.
Pretty unusual. And I think whatever they had that was scheduled for halftime, they canceled. And
Yep.
halftime just looked extremely bizarre because obviously all the players are going to go out the field. Then there's
Hmm.
nothing happening on the field because there's no halftime entertainment. And then naturally, I mean, it looks weird, but it makes sense. If it's cold, rainy, and wet, and nobody's out there on the field, go seek some shelter for a little bit so you can, make it through the
Right.
second half. And so it was, man, at halftime, I really would like to promise you if it was 200 people in that stadium during halftime, I'd be shocked. It was everybody get out of there and sought shelter, which again, I don't blame you. It was cold and rainy all day. And
Yeah,
fun
yeah.
fact, go ahead.
Yeah, Yeah, that's just the crazy part of that whole thing too. It was such an eerie sight too, because again, no performance at halftime just due to the weather. But I was just looking around as we were, taking it in and just taking a step back for a little bit because, halftime you get a little bit of a break. But you're just looking around and you're seeing everything and you're like, wow, is this even like a game day right now with how light it is in the stadium? I mean, it was quite the sight to see. I don't want to put too much of a spotlight on it, but I mean, definitely something to be discussed there.
Hey Andre, if we win 3 games, are we overachieving?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I didn't think we would win another game this season. Um, I think if we get to that point where we win one more, then I would be pleasantly surprised. I think they do have a chance. There's another divisional game at the end of the season where, like Thomas said, if Tampa Bay clinches the division and they rest all their starters, then you can make a case that Carolina could have a legitimate shot to win that game. Um, I think it's realistic if that scenario plays out to be the case. Um, but anything that is a positive would be considered an overachievement to me at this point in the year with how much we've had to endure this season, all the bad and the ugly mixed in together with everything seemingly going against us. Yeah, absolutely. I would view it as an overachievement.
And about that last game, that divisional game, man, Baker Mayfield is playing some good football.
He sure is.
Congratulations to you, Baker. Had a perfect passer rating in Green Bay yesterday. Perfect. 22 of 28, 381 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. So if they have a chance to win it and need that victory during that last game, yeah, I got to put them as the favorite because offensively, our defense is pretty good. It keeps us in a lot of games, but offensively, we just can't do enough, which is a good segue to Joe Goodwin's question. Like, hey, if we score 20 points a game, we're going to win a lot of games. I don't know if I'd say a lot, but I would say we'd certainly be a 500 team because our defense has been putting us in some really good positions. Derek Brown is playing great. And then you got so many others, Thurman and who was the other good player yesterday on that defensive side? What do we have?
Brian Burns was another solid guy. Nick Thurman, you already mentioned. Xavier Woods, who had the interception. Frankie Luvu had a pretty active game, leading the
Mm-hmm.
league or leading the team, excuse me, in tackles.
Yeah.
Uh, so there are some playmakers on that side of the ball, and they're continuing to have to bail out this Panthers offense. Even in yesterday's game, they had to make plays on the defensive side of the ball to give Carolina's offense a chance to drive down the field and ultimately win the game. So, offense has been an issue for this team this whole season, and there's a good bit of those games that had we had competent play on that side of the ball,
Yeah.
then yeah, you would have had a chance at a 500 record, and that would have been more than enough in the division to have the lead atop of the NFC South.
Let's run through some more of these comments here, get some love. We go live for the reason of interacting with you guys, so we appreciate
Yeah,
all the comments. Don't be afraid to click on that link that's in the description. Come on and say hello. Be happy, be sad, vent, whatever it may be. We're here for it. That's what the Monday show are all about. We don't have any script. We're just here talking with you guys and having some fun. Rails, what's good? Chris and Andre.
what is going on, man? Glad to have you on.
Shakir says, "Can you guys stay on until 7:20 so I can call in?" Unfortunately, not. So sorry, but the show happens every week. We'll love to see you again next week when you can come out.
Blame Chris for that one,
You
Shakid.
can. It's on me. It's on me.
But it's
Thomas
all
Sherby
good.
said the Panthers do have some history on winning their last game of the season, so we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, last year they beat the Saints. Um, in a pretty low scoring affair. And I think the year prior, Did they also beat the Saints? Or is that a
You're the Charlotte Vibe historian. I don't know.
yeah? I don't know, but they do have, especially in a game like that where they're resting their starters. I mean, there's a pretty realistic shot of that happening. That would probably be the game out of the next three that I would feel they would have their best shot in winning. But yeah, you're right. They do have a history of winning season finales. How bad or how good a season has been for the Panthers, they do have a history there winning those last games.
Hey, and this is just a little, again, this is unscripted, and I absolutely love the pictures that we get from our photographers. So, for some who may have not seen them already, we're going to go through showing
Yeah,
a few pictures from yesterday really quickly. I usually ask Andre to do his great narration, but I'm just going to breeze through these really quick. That's the game winning kick, Taylor Moton. Lots of guys happy. Chuba Hubbard. And you notice one thing in all these pictures, you notice that you can see lots of raindrops.
yes.
It's not blurry pictures. It's not cloudy. It is just raindrops in the photographs. Xavier Woods with a nice interception that put us in the position to win the game, which we did. And Bryce Young saying one love. I'm just kidding. Uh, Jonathan Mingo with a little reception. And let's see the guy from the left. Like, you're lucky you got that. You see that guy beside him? Got his tongue stuck
Yep.
out. I don't know if you see that. He's like,
Yeah, that's Jesse Bates, right? The one, the guy that picked off Bryce Young twice at the beginning of the season.
could be. Like I said, you're the historian for us. And who's that?
There you go.
Amir Smith Meerset.
Okay.
Let's talk about Amir.
Yeah.
And then we got Brian Burns having some fun here. How many jet sweeps did this? Now, I liked the game plan yesterday. I like Chris Tabor and what they were doing. Now, here's the thing. I'm not saying I liked it and it was sweeping changes because you're not going to get that with this team. Things are going to be very incremental.
Not at this point in the year.
Yeah, yeah.
I can tell you that.
It's going to be very incremental, and the conditions are bad. Lots of things are terrible with this team, but they use Amir Smith Meerset. I hope I said
It's
his name right.
Marset.
Yeah, I didn't feel like I said that
Marset.
right. So I'm glad
Yeah.
you corrected me. In that jet sweep several times, and he actually was able to be our second leading rusher. I think I have the stats here to share with you guys. Look at this: 4 rushes, 31 yards, 7-point yard average. He's not going to be able to do that every week. That was like one of those rare cases where you know that you can kind of catch them off guard, catch them not expecting that. And he's so quick, so dynamic. It worked a lot of times. Now, I'm not saying that we can't do that anymore. We can, but doing it as many times as we did yesterday, no. That is now on tape, has been dissected several times, and I'm sure the Green Bay Packers will be preparing for that. So we're going to need to find other creative ways to use him in the future, which they could. But the creative things that were done yesterday, having only 4 wide receivers, using Smith as a jet sweep option a lot of times, then using Camus, Gruger, Hill to do kicks
As a kickoff specialist.
as a kickoff, trying to do every single thing he can to gain a little bit of an advantage. And I appreciate that over how Frank Wright would try to get his advantage would be like, well, I'm not telling you who's starting at right guard this week. I'm just going to try to preserve that.
It's like, bro, what do you have to hide at that point?
Right. Right guard is not going to be something that's going to make you suddenly win a game. Like you have like it'll help you do something a little bit better, but it's not going to be a game big changing difference, right?
Right.
But Tabor, to his credit, he did not give out any indication that Camus could kick or would kick. He didn't know that Amir was going to be doing the jet sweeps. We haven't seen that. And then another thing that he did was call that timeout right before the quarter ended to give his punter an opportunity to punt with the wind at his back. And all of those little things, you got to say, contributed to the team winning. So good coaching game there yesterday by Chris Tabor. Let's go ahead. We got about 10 minutes left in the show. I'm going to continue to show some love to everybody that joins us. Shows all about you all. So please hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so. trying to get to 10,000. Hit that like button. I want you to get in the habit of doing that every single time. And shout out to all of our members that sign on and come and talk to us while we're here. Props to the fans that were there. They are true Panther fans. Yes, indeed. Very true. How much truth is it in these news that are going around saying that David Tepper spent a good amount of time with Ben Johnson or his agent? So, I haven't heard about that, but here's my immediate comment. He is absolutely, positively not spending any time with Ben Johnson. Maybe his agent, possibly. But you're not allowed to talk to coaches during the NFL season, which is completely in progress. So they have to wait. I think it's maybe the second round. There's some date at which they could then begin talking to people depending on something. So absolutely not in that regard. There was reports that Ben Johnson had been notified from other people about how difficult it had been coaching here in Carolina. So that's all I have for you on that one, Argidus. Go ahead and say it, Andre.
Argidus. I'm going to roll with that. I think that's the most accurate way to pronounce that there. But, hey, the interest is there from David Tepper. I don't think he's hiding it at all. He's trying to get ahead of the game as much as humanly possible with the circumstances that he's under right now. He was pretty evident that he wanted him last year, and that's the case again this go around. And I feel like he's going to try and do everything he can to get him here in Carolina. Now, how much money is he going to fork out? What other innovative ways is he going to go about getting him here? Who knows? That remains to be seen. But he's not hiding the interests. There is mutual. I don't even want to call it mutual interest. I think there is a love interest there to get him here in Carolina, and I think it's pretty obvious that he's doing everything he can to make that happen.
And let me give some shout outs. We're about to bring one of our most loyal callers on to the show.
Oh, here we go.
Let me also just tip the hat to the linemen. I know there's a bunch of stats floating out there about how well the offensive line did. Now, yes, they still allowed some sacks and hits. They weren't perfect, but if you want to look at improvement, it is certainly happening. Taylor Moton in his last 2 games, 71 pass blocking snaps, 1 pressure allowed, 0 sacks allowed. So there's another stat out there that I can't quickly find. But the offensive line, much improved against the last 2 opponents, the Atlanta Falcons and the New Orleans Saints. So without further ado, he had to hop in from his car.
Oh, here we go.
Man, I got to make it because Chris said he's not going to stay. And he has on Panthers, you know what?
Yes.
I apologize. Live TV to everybody out there. So we try to dress a certain way, right? Game days are suit and ties. Monday is still, button up or polos. And then the rest of the week, you can kind of casual it down.
Right.
I did my man a disservice. Andre, I did not tell you that today we're going to relax the dress code and show some love. Everybody's has on their gear. I don't have on a Panthers shirt, but I just have on this. So my apologies, Andre. What's up, Shaked? Say your name right, because I got to get it right.
In the picture photo.
Say the name for me.
Oh, did he leave?
I thought he said pitiful. We said something. He's coming back.
Okay.
There we go.
go.
The picture froze. Probably the Falcons did it. I'm guessing.
You said picture froze.
So,
I thought you said pitiful.
Hey. So, couple of things. Number one, Victory Monday. Excited about the win. Very happy about the win. But here's something that the new coaching staff need to do. And that is, on the offense, run the read option. Because on 4th and 1 that we did not convert, that Bryce Young was in shotgun. If you run the read option, it's an easy first down. No question about it, because all of the Falcons defenders went after Chuba Abel. Bryce Young kept the ball. It's an easy chunk of yard. And the frustrating part, back in Alabama, Bryce Young was pretty good running the read option. So that is the biggest thing we need to improve new coaching staff. Now, we mentioned how bad this team is, but let's be honest. The NFC South is a joke. That right now, with few free agency signing, a brand new coaching staff, we can win the NFC South. As long as, of course, and please, Atlanta Falcons, keep Arthur Smith as the head coach. Please keep Desmond Riddle as your quarterback. He's a franchise quarterback. He's a Hall of Famer. Saints, please keep Derek Carr. And Buccaneers, please keep Baker Mayfield. Because let's be honest, yeah, we are 2-12. But realistically, with how the South is, there is no reason why with a brand new coaching staff, a better targeting wide receiver such as T. Higgins, who is from the area, a better catching reliable tight end. We already have the running game in Chuba Abel. We need some few upgraded offensive line, but the defense is in place. We are not that far away, realistically, as bad as we are, from winning the NFC South next year.
Hey, I agree. Thank you for coming on. And I'll have some special sound effects for you next week.
Oh,
Good seeing you, man.
Comments on that, Andre?
Yeah, I have heard that piece of verbiage on the Twitterverse today, and it was brought up by somebody. I forgot who the player was. That was DJ Chark. Yeah, DJ Chark was um, the one who kind of answered to that question. I think Carolina, if they build it right and they have competent people in the building, if they can get a couple of positions addressed, then you may have a case. You just need to address a couple of positions to give Bryce Young the ability to cover up the weaknesses of the team. I think if we can get to that point, whether through free agency and in the draft next year, then you may have a case. But at the same time, too, if Carolina's going to make improvements, so are the Saints, so are the Buccaneers, so are the Falcons. So I really can't offer much to that prediction of, hey, we're not that far off, because we don't know what the other three teams in the NFC South are going to do here upcoming here after the season ends. So until we have a full picture of what we have to work with, I can't really comment too much on it, because we're still kind of in the thick of things here with a little over 3 games left in the year.
I feel like he's right. We're not that far off. Because this division is always pretty bad. This division always is pretty shallow and the good talent, right? So if you look at approximately the last 10 years, if you get it right in this division, you're going to dominate for probably like 3 to 4 years, easily, right? You had the Carolina Panthers that did it. I know you're a historian, so you guys can help correct me here. 2013, 14, 15, 16, they won some NFC South divisions, and they even won it 3 times in a row. At one point, close in that time frame. Again, Andre is the more accurate with dates and times guy than I am. And then, just freshly being in New Orleans, they had banners that I saw on their roof, because we were so close to it in that press box, that showed that they won, I believe, 4 in a row NFC South division titles, right? And
I
then
believe so.
Tom came down, kind of disrupted things, and Tampa got it. And now Tom's gone, and now we're back to Tom's gone, and Sean Payton's gone, and it just stinks. So
It's a free for all.
if one organization gets it right, history says in this division, you're going to have some pretty good success for 3, 4, maybe even 5 years before somebody else finally gets it right and then they win. So I think you're not far, just because things are so bad. And we'll just have to see which organization gets it right first. And hopefully it'll be the Carolina Panthers.
I hope so, too.
Let's give a little shout out to our members. Michelle,
Yeah.
hey guys, make you live, love the shirt. Maybe I subconsciously did this because Andre got all the props yesterday for his nice dress. So I'm like, I'm not going to tell him I'm doing this. So maybe that's subconscious.
I love it.
Um, crazy stat: we haven't led for a single snap in the fourth quarter this season.
Wow,
Okay, I hear you. Um,
that's
see what
crazy if that is
happens when we give Bryce some time to throw. That was good.
indeed. Yeah.
Indeed, indeed. And then look at Chance. I love the Victory Monday shirt. So let me show him. There you go, Victory Monday. Hey, good light
Oh,
show.
yeah, man.
We're gonna go ahead and wrap up because we've got to jump over to Instagram for a little bit. We need to show them some love because they did not see our post game show too accurately yesterday. I also got some props on the picture, so let me see if I can super quickly. Well, I can't super quickly go through the pictures, but yeah, hats off to our photographer Patrick, who just got soaked out there for several hours getting
Oh
those
man,
great,
he
great
toughed it
photos.
out yesterday.
Yeah, didn't even see the guy. We normally see the guy, but since we were trying to see, he probably thinks we're like softies, right? He's like, yeah, you guys won't even make time to say hello or goodbye, but yet the whole game I'm out there busting my butt getting pictures in the rain. Yeah,
I got
photography.
the I got the text from him this morning. He's like, "Sorry, I didn't see you guys." I felt the sarcasm in his his text there when he said that. But all kidding aside, though, that's our man right there. He's been holding it down for us this entire season, so you got to give him props for that. And
So
he's going to
hey,
be on holiday. He's going to be on a pretty sweet trip, I hear.
yeah, he's going with the family out the country, which I can't blame him. I like to do stuff like that, but we got too many kids right now. We gotta let them go.
Right. Too
My
much
wife's
chaos.
eager to do that, but I'm like, mm, they can't remember it. I don't like investing too much
Right.
into it. But hey,
That's a
thanks.
good quote right there. I like that. If they can't remember it, I'm not invested in it. I like it.
1 year old birthday parties. If they can't remember it, we'll just buy a little cake from the corner store, and we'll go to bed. But anyway, we'll be off tomorrow. Panthers will be back at it Wednesday, preparing to take on the Green Bay Packers. I myself, it's all about me, huh? Myself, Andre Casseday, and this week, Julio Bozeman, our photographer from last year, will
All
be
right.
part of the three-man crew that will be covering the Green Bay Packers for you. And that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again shortly.
Be well, everybody.